Have you ever seen a man not afraid to die? Gave his life for a dream. Born hustler, so the game conceived. A caged beast, but now I'm free. How can you blame me? I was born for this, the game chose me. Ready. My whole clique since '06 was on the bottom, now we running this. Grind hard when the load gets heavy. The money was slow, but now it's ready. You boys is not ready.
It's in our islands. And our waters. It's in our artistry. And across our land. It's in our history. And our cities. It's in all our stones that stand. It's time to come and find it. It's time to come and feel it. Scotland, a spirit of its own.
The time has come. The dawn of a new era. 2 cities set the stage. And 7 sports unite together. The bar is raised, and the best shall rise. Heroes will be born, and battles shall be won. Where talent beats talk, and glory is for the taking. Records will be broken.
Adam Peaty, a class of his own.
The impossible
It's a world record.
made possible.
Get in there.
They may forget what was said, but not how it felt. The moment is coming. Live the moment.
Well, hello, good evening and welcome to day 2 of the British Swimming Championships 2016. Day 2 can only mean one thing. It's the second batch of finals tonight, starting at 6:20. Now, last night we had fantastic swims. We saw James Guy take the gold in the men's 400-metre freestyle, Jazz Carlin in the women's 200 freestyle. Adam Peaty had a storming swim in the men's 100 breaststroke. And we finished off the night with Hannah Miley taking her 10th British title in the 400 metres individual medley. So last night's competition is anything to go by. Tonight is going to be fantastic. Now, don't forget, this is the exclusive show that brings you the heats and the finals as they happen live. So make sure you tune in every day for the heat session and the final session. The competition finishes on Sunday, so we don't have long to go. Now, of course, we know why a lot of the swimmers are here. There's a small matter of a competition coming up. Rio 2016 Olympics this summer. Now, the selection, nomination, qualification times, quite complex to explain. I caught up with Ross Davenport and Kate Gray earlier this week. Take a look at this. So the important question is, how are our swimmers selected for Rio 2016?
Well, this isn't your average selection meet. The swimmers have to perform a consideration time, which will then allow them to be nominated. That will be put to the British Olympic Association, and that's how they'll be selected to go to Rio.
OK, so I'm slightly confused. Ross, how are our swimmers nominated?
Well, this is completely different, as Kate just mentioned. In the past, it'd be the fastest...
Back in your day?
Back in my day, there'd be the fastest two, and you'd be selected for the Olympic Games, and you would know that straight away. This is different. It's all about being nominated for the team, and there's a table out there, and it is very, very quick. And the athletes that go to Rio are going to be at the top of their game going into the Summer Olympic Games.
And of course, more information on the British Swimming website. So technically, could we have loads of swimmers being nominated, Kate?
Well, they've only got 30 spots available. And that doesn't mean they have to fill all those spots. It just means that there are 30 spaces available. And if a swimmer reaches that consideration time, they will obviously be very close to being on that plane to Rio. But those that maybe just miss out, maybe they don't win the race or are just off the qualification time, the consideration time, then they have to be within 2% of another table of times, which are even more difficult. But if they do reach those times, it means they're in with a very good chance of performing in Rio.
Throw into the mix, there's 6 wildcards.
Hold on. What are the 6 wildcards?
6 wildcards at the discretion of the head coach and the National Performance Director.
And when will our swimmers know if they have been selected or nominated?
Thursday of next week.
OK, you heard it here first, Thursday of next week. I'm delighted to say that I am joined this evening by former Olympian, who he says current, but former Olympian, Ross Davenport. This is just, you've got to be in your bonnet about this, haven't you?
Well, not. I'm former when it comes around to Rio, but current just right. Come on, give me my moment, please.
OK, I will. You've had enough. You've had enough in the swimming world. But Ross, let's talk about the selection process, a nomination for consideration. Have we had any swimmers meet the table 1 times yet?
Yeah, we certainly have. You've already mentioned last night was such a fantastic meet. James Guy in the 400 metres freestyle was under that consideration time. Yep. Adam Peaty and also Hannah Miley. So 3 swimmers from last night, all going under that consideration time for selection that will be selected next week. The selectors will meet on Monday. The team will be announced next Thursday. So very exciting times for the swimmers ahead, and hopefully tonight we can get a lot more under that consideration time.
Yeah, and swimmers will find out a week tomorrow, on Thursday, a week tomorrow, yeah, if they've been actually selected for the Olympics.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of these swimmers are coming out saying they've been selected, but until all the boxes are ticked and the red tape is and everything's signed off, they're not actually on the team, so we can't actually say they're selected. Okay. So they're under that consideration time. Okay,
well, you may be wondering, we've got a bit of a different structure of our finals for this event. I caught up with Tim Jones. He had a bit more to say about this. I'm here with Tim Jones, head of British Swimming Performance Pathway. Now, Tim, I want to kind of pick your brains about the format of the finals so far, because we've seen 3 different finals. Talk to me about those.
OK, last year we ran with a 3-final format at the British Championships. Last year it was 2 junior finals and an open final, and we felt that worked really well. So this year we were looking for 3 finals again. We've got a European Junior Championships this year and clearly an Olympic Games. And one of our challenges has been sort of the transition of our good juniors to senior athletes. So we felt that sort of having sort of a longer viewpoint towards Tokyo and putting in place a final which would start to identify some of the people that may be prospective team members in 2020 was a really positive thing for us to do.
Now, interesting, Bill Furness has kind of said about everything's not the be-all and end-all right here, right now, heading to Rio 2016, because, as you said, the pathway is heading towards 2020 as well, and getting those younger swimmers up and coming and letting them have that experience in the sort of wider field.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to take a longer-term view now. Over the past couple of years, we've built up a relationship with the Japanese Swimming Federation. So we've travelled with groups of swimmers out to Japan a number of times now. So this is really part of that process. So we're just trying to, expose a group of swimmers to some activity and some experiences by taking them to the Far East. But this is just another extension of that, because we just get an opportunity to now start to see who potentially might be part of that team in the future. It's a very early sort of stargaze at that, but it's taking a more holistic view as to what that team might look like, and just start to put the spotlights around one or two people for that.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, we've seen some great performances. It's only day 2 so far. Are you excited for what you've been seeing so far as well?
Yeah, I think it's been a really positive meet for us so far. I mean, it's good to see some of the juniors are now standing up and really starting to push towards the senior team, and that's exactly what we need to do better. That's where we've had challenges in the past, but we think the target Tokyo final will be just one small part of that transition.
I'm sure it will. Thank you very much for speaking to us. So Tim Jones there from British Swimming. Now, Ross, let's talk about the finals for tonight.
Yeah, the swimmers are absolutely ready. You can see them in the core room. We've got the women's 100 back. You've got Lizzie Simmons up against Jessica Fuller-Love, Georgia Davis and Francesca Housel in the 100s back. Then you go into the men's 200 fly. Cameron Brodie was very strong this morning. The women's 200-metre breaststroke, Molly Renshaw looked perfectly, absolutely lovely this morning. And then hitting off with the men's 100 metres backstroke, Chris Walker-Hebburn versus the veteran in Liam Tankoff.
Bit of a duel in the pool, potentially. Who knows? But we'll find out very shortly as the finals are well about to start. Let's see a summary from Bob Ballard from this morning's events.
The heats on day 2 of the British Swimming Championship started with the 100 backstroke for women. Lizzie Simmons, more associated with the 200, put in a lifetime best performance. She posted the fastest time of the morning in 60.29. Jay Elliott, better known for his performances over 30 lengths, showed his versatility in the 200 fly, the University of Bath swimmer finishing in 1:58.90, the best in the heats. After missing out on the Olympic team in 2012, Molly Renshaw is keen to make up for it this time, and the British record holder in the 200 breaststroke put in an impressive 2:25.84 this morning, over 2 seconds quicker than the rest. Another tough qualification time has been laid down in the 100 backstroke for men, but Chris Walker-Hebburn looks set to give it a really good go tonight. His time of 54.2 was a season's best, with more to come surely. And Jazz Carlin prepared for a final of the 800 metres freestyle tomorrow with the fastest time in the last heat of the morning programme.
Well, I have to say, what are we waiting for? Let's get these finals started for day 2 of the British Swimming Championships 2016. I'm going to hand you over to our commentators, Ross Davenport and Bob Ballard.
Welcome to Tollcross and to the British Swimming Championships of 2016. Eager anticipation on day 2 of finals night. As we get on to the 100 backstroke first, as Hannah mentioned and Ross mentioned earlier on, there will be 3 finals in each event. We'll have the junior final, and we'll be following that by the Target Tokyo final, second up, and then the final that has those potential Olympic places on the line. We're going to see some very familiar names in British swimming coming up in this session. We'll have Lizzie Simmons, not her best event in the 100 backstroke, but she's the fastest qualifier going in to the final tonight. In that, we'll see the 200 fly. Just see what Jay Elliott can do. Obviously putting most of his eggs, you would think, in the 1500 freestyle basket a little later on in the week. And we've got 2, Ross, really tough qualification times in the 200 breaststroke for women and the 100 back for men. Chris Walker-Hebburn has to go as quick as pretty much he's ever gone in the 100 backstroke, and Molly Renshaw has to go quicker than she's ever been before.
Yeah, that's right. These consideration times are incredibly tough, and you've highlighted the women's 200 metres breaststroke. That is, rivaling medals at the international stage. So if Molly was to go and get the consideration time for that, or anybody else, should we say, for that 200 metres breaststroke, it's going to stand her in good stead for the rest of this year.
Yeah, Chris Walker-Hebburn and Liam Tankoff, who already mentioned. Liam is still feisty, still wants to do it, still thinks he can do it in the 100 backstroke, and has been training, as we saw from the heats this morning, very much changed the way he's swimming that race now, and it seems to be working for him. They say old dogs new tricks. It took him quite a long time to change that format, but it's working, it would seem, for Liam. We'll put that to the test a little later on as we come on to the first final of the evening, and it is the junior 100 backstroke. We'll have the details of all the swimmers involved on your screen very shortly, but if you are with the Millfield, City of Derby, Plymouth, Nova, Ellesmere, City of Peterborough or Hillingdon Club, you have a swimmer, at least one swimmer, in this final.
Really impressed with Lily Bosley this morning from Nova Centurion. She's in one of the earlier heats, and she is the fastest qualifier for this junior 100 metres backstroke.
Here comes the, here comes the 1:28 for you for the junior 100 backstroke. Time they're looking at for the European juniors here is 62.06. So keep an eye on your screen to get qualification for the European juniors later in the year. 62.06, and that's a tough mark, another very tough mark for these eights to get. So we're looking at the 1-2 quickest this morning. Tegan Drew of Plymouth in 3. Lily Bosley, mentioned by Ross just now, in lane number 4 for Nova Centurion. And we have 2 Ellesmere Port swimmers from Ellesmere County, Cassie Wild and Eleanor Southard. I think it's going to be a very tight one, and when they get to the 25-metre mark, they are pretty much all in a line.
Yeah, but this is the green suit of Lily Bosley that looks like she's just half a body length in front already at the 45-metre mark. It's going to go under the flags into the turn with a little bit of a sizable gap now, should we say. She does turn first in 30.33, half second ahead of the swimmer in lane number 7, Rachel Wellings from the city of Peterborough. And this is a really, really strong swimmer. Just highlighted here, Elizabeth Simmons' British age group record for the 14 years of age is 62.56. Her entry time from this morning was 52.79. So let's keep an eye out on that and see if she can get the British age group record for 14 years of age.
Well, she has dominated this race from start to finish. You know she's going to win it. What kind of time could she win it in? 1:02.35. Maybe not quite the best finish from her point of view, and it is outside the time for junior selection for the Europeans, but nonetheless she's delighted with that, as well she might be, because that's a new personal best for her in 1:02.35. And in second place it is Cassie Wild, third is Tegan Drew, so second place in 1:03.41 and third 1:03.52.
Yeah, fantastic time, and she led from start to finish. It was only half an arm length ahead at 25, but then she really did extend that across the next 50 metres going into that final 25. She really turned the screw on the rest of the field, and a fantastic swim, winning by over second actually.
Hey, look at it, 1.06 between Lily Bosley, Cassie Wild, and then Tegan Drew, Eleanor Baldwin, Rachel Wellings, 1:23.45 there, and some very good times and improvement on times from this morning as well. Next up will be the Target Tokyo. Now, if you weren't with us last night, maybe we need to talk about this, Ross, a little bit. The Target Tokyo is obviously a new innovation here, kind of looking towards the next Olympic cycle, looking towards 2020. Reasonings, ideas behind this?
Well, normally in the past you'd have semi-finals for British Championships, and certainly for the 100 and 200 events, these swimmers might get a chance of getting another swim, but to come to a championships like the British Champs, and you're walking with your idols in the corridors and you're seeing them warm up, it's a great experience that they can actually come back in a final session and swim and deliver what they can do in their own final. So the Target Tokyo final is all about identifying swimmers that the world-class team, the world-class potential team believe can be pushing for places onto the Olympic team in 4.5 years' time, or certainly when the qualification comes around, it will be 4 years' time. So expect to see some of these swimmers, hopefully over the next 4 years, start to progress up through the junior ranks and make that transition into the senior ranks. And it'd be great to see some of these swimmers and have a look back and see what they've experienced here in Glasgow to then move it on and go into Tokyo.
There's your 7, not 8 lanes, just 7 this time for the Target Tokyo 100 backstroke for women. Fastest qualifier from this morning, City of Derby's Harriet Cooper. And either side of her, Chloe Golding of Ellesmere and Charlotte Evans of Loughborough University. Second final of the night, Target Tokyo 100 backstroke final. And if it's anything like the first one, they'll all come up pretty much in a line, all trying to use as much of that 15 metres as they possibly can. They're allowed underwater, and the race, certainly as the first one, will probably not quite develop until we get to 35 metres, and they're approaching that now. It's more of an even split. Having a look closest to us at the moment, the camera angle sometimes does distort a little bit, but Hannah Burville's had a really good start in lane number 7.
Yeah, she has got a great start in lane number 7, turns first just ahead of Harriet Cooper in lane 4 and Tasman Pugh in the purple suit in lane number 6. Tasman actually had a really good start in the underwater phase, but it is now the swimmer in lane number 4, Harriet Cooper, that's showing her strength. She is one of the older swimmers in this event, is trained at the City of Derby with the likes of Adam Peaty, Mel Marshall is her coach, and her strength is showing now as she comes to the final 7 metres.
Yeah, she's going to take it by about half a body length from about 3-4 swimmers all coming in a line into the wall. 61.63 is the time for Harriet Cooper. Charlotte Evans posting the second fastest time, 1:02 dead. In third place, it is Tasman Pugh, and fourth in 1:02.30. Our early leader there at 50, Hannah Burville.
Yeah, I think that was just a little bit more experience and a little bit more strength. Harriet's, a real tall girl, real strong girl, and it really did show over that 50 metres, the final 50 metres. And there's she, 61.63. So it's not a lifetime best, but it's certainly enough to win the target Tokyo final for the 100 metres women's backstroke. Second place, Charlotte Evans from Loughborough University, 62.00.
Let's not forget, also in this event, Ross, that the world record is still held by a Brit. Long since retired, but Gemma Spofforth, that time that she set in Rome, the old shiny suit days, 2009, but that's still on the books after 7 years.
Yeah, you mentioned the shiny suits, and she actually didn't do it in a 100% shiny suit, if you want to call it that. And even the year before, she went to the Olympic Games in 2008 and narrowly came fourth. And she actually backed that up in the relay and did a time that would have got a medal. So missed an opportunity, Gemma Spofforth, but she is the world record holder. She was the world champion from 2009. So quality swimmer, 58.1. No one's got close.
No, nobody has got close to that, you're right. And the qualification time is quite steep as well on this. Got to say, Lizzie Simmons, who we'll see in the 200 later on in the week, that are renowned for a 4-length swim than a 2-length swim, has been sub-minute. Now, is there anybody in this field capable of doing 59.05, do you think?
Why not? Why not? Don't be so negative, Bob.
No, it's only a question. So maybe
no.
I just want to.
It's going to take a huge step up from one of these girls. Lizzie Simmons, we've seen for many, many years, is always around that 59 high. She's going to have to a big drop. Fran, you've seen her in the freestyle events so many years. Real good freestyler. Now trying to hand at the backstroke. George Davis is going to have a real strong 50. But I think she's been working more on the back end as well, like we spoke about Liam. And Kathleen Dawson had a brilliant heat this morning. So Lauren Quigley's in there. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight for some of these girls. But don't forget, there's a potential of a medley relay team spot if they're going to take a team for that. So not only are they fighting for the individual honours, but they also want to post the quickest time they can possibly do to put themselves in contention if they are going to take a medley relay to Rio.
There is the 1:08. Don't overlook Lauren Quigley again, probably better known for the 200 like Lizzie is, but she goes in lane number 2. She'll be looking to get a fast start and hopefully a fast finish as well. So there's some names here who all think that they are capable, and they are capable of going sub-60. They need to go substantially sub-60 though to get the time they require. 59.05. Lizzie Simmons, fastest qualifier from Bath University in 4. Flanked either side by Kathleen Dawson of Warrington in 3 and Georgia Davis in lane number 5. Now they will all use as much of that 15 metres as they possibly can. Probably about 14 used by Lizzie Simmons in lane number 4.
Yeah, cracking start from Georgia Davis as well. One lane up from her. Just been talking about France, not even doing it, is she? She's pulled out of that, so that's my mistake. But Lizzie Simmons has that experience, normally has that back end as well, but she can't get tight. Lizzie Simmons in the past, when she starts to really force 100 metres, she gets tight and she starts to overthink it and overwork it, and that's when she tends to go slower. But it is Georgia Davis that has a half a second lead at the 50 mark, turning in 28.99, and now it's for Lizzie to try and reel her in if she can, but has Georgia Davis got enough in the tank?
Well, Georgia was under 1 minute pace at the 50. Here comes Lizzie. She's got a bit of speed and she's coming right alongside Georgia Davis. Great finish here. Georgia Davis just in front, and she is determined to get to that wall first. Lizzie Simmons is trying all she can, all her might to get there, but this is Georgia Davis. Great time. 59.64, not good enough to get the automatic qualification or automatic chance of being qualified for the Olympic Games. 59.64 for Georgia Davis. Lizzie Simmons not able to quite get the minute with 60.20, so only one of the 8 swimmers going sub 60 there. Jessica Fuller-Love in 3rd place and Lauren Quigley in 61 dead. So good effort by Georgia Davis. Said she would go sub 60 on that turn, but she needed another half a second to get the qualification time for potential selection for the Olympic Games later on in the year. But it's good, and she'll be very happy with that. Got it down as a personal best. I think that's correct, 59.64. And there's more still yet to come, I think, from Georgia Davis. We'll see that during the course of the year. And I think she'll probably still go faster before the end of 2016, but not quite the time she needed to achieve today. She certainly gave it a good crack and wasn't too far off that qualification time. But the 100 back won by Loughborough's Georgia Davis. 2nd place to Lauren Quigley, and very good finish indeed. Let's hear from her. This is Georgia.
Yes, Georgia, congratulations. That was an incredible finish there. What does it mean to you to be British champion here?
I'm so pleased that I was able to sort of swim much better than I have done all season. I was starting to worry a little bit. My mid-season in hard training swims were quite slow. And I was like, oh, I really hope I drop on taper. So I'm just pleased with that, so pleased.
Well, congratulations. Let's have a big cheer for our British champion, Georgia Davis.
Thank you.
Georgia Davis there putting in a storming performance just outside her own PB. Ross, what did you make of that?
Yeah, she paced it incredibly well. You know, you normally see Georgia Davis go out really, really fast, and it was all about Lizzie Simmons, can she draw that back? But she'd done enough. It looks like she has changed her training a little bit to work on that back end. Normally she is out there in front and then tends to die off a little bit. As she just said, 6/100s off her personal best. Not quite the consideration time, but it certainly puts her in contention.
Yeah, and being in front of a home crowd as well must mean quite a lot to these swimmers.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here in Glasgow with a home crowd, and you know, you can see the start there. Georgia Davis actually got the better start from the 2 swimmers, using all the 15 metres underwater, if not kind of encroaching over. So a fantastic start, and it's just so important to get those skill levels spot on the backstroke.
Yeah, and obviously the starts, turns, finishes of every race are critical, but particularly in backstroke being one of those events where it's essential to get a good start, and obviously she did that tonight. Yeah, she did, and she's obviously been working really hard with her coach, James Gibson in Loughborough. You know, it's so much quicker to get off, certainly on backstroke, to be underwater and stay underwater as long as possible. And if these girls or guys could spend 30 metres underwater, they would do if they can, but they're obviously limited to the 15, and she used the whole of that. She was absolutely no hesitation in the last 15 metres. She was on this, wasn't she? Yeah, like I said, you normally see her stroke rate drops into the last 5, but it looked like actually towards the last 7 or 8 metres, she actually picked up her stroke rate and really headed off to that wall. And you know, it's fantastic to see that she touched the wall under 60 seconds. We have had these girls going under 60 seconds for a while, but it's great that she's doing it again. And obviously, you know her on a personal level. What will this mean to her? It will mean a lot. You know, we spoke about it in the commentary that there is potentially a relay a spot up for grabs. We'll have to wait and see if the selectors take a medley relay, but she's put herself in good contention. Yeah. We'll see a week tomorrow. Well, let's move on to our next event. It's over to Bob Ballard.
It is the junior 200 metres butterfly final. Of course, there are places up for grabs for the European juniors, as we mentioned earlier on. I'll tell you what the time is in a moment. They need only 7 going to start here, and that's your lineup. Jacob Peters of Poole, fastest qualifier from the heats this morning. Jacob Greenow in 1, Mark Elric in 2, Freddie Clampett in 3, Jacob Peters 4, Joe Litchfield 5, Sam Daly of Plymouth in 6, and Wickham District's James Baxter. That shiny new pool of Wickham going in lane number 7. So the target time to reach the European juniors is 2:01.62. Well, there's been a couple in this field who haven't been too far outside that, so if they can improve on the 200 butterfly, then they could be there. This is the race that has a lot of agony attached to the last 50. We'll see that elephant probably appear at some point on the last length, and on the first length, leader at the turn will be Jacob Peters, our fastest qualifier from this morning, 26.67. Joe Litchfield 27.32, and Sam Daly in third. Early stages though, don't read too much into it though. He is trying to set a mean old pace here. Here's Jacob Peters in lane number 4, and has about a body length advantage over Joe Litchfield in the adjoining lane. And won't be able to see Jacob Greenoff, who's in the far lane in lane number 1, but as at 50, it's the leader at 100. Jacob Peters in 58.25.
Yeah, nice controlled first 100 metres, but a fantastic turn from lane number 5, Joe Litchfield from Doncaster Darts. Now actually looks like, look on the screen, he's starting to edge in front, so a controlled first 100 from Joe Litchfield. Fantastic start underwater, and now he's storming down this third 50. We talk a lot, and I'm not going to apologise for it again, but that third 50 is really important. If you can drive down to the final turn on that third 50, it gives you a lot of momentum as you go into the final turn, and then you've got one length to go home.
Joe Litchfield has to knock about a second off his personal best to make that European Championship qualifying time for the juniors, and he's given a rare old crack here. The pace was set by Jacob Peters in lane number 4, but Joe Litchfield of Doncaster Darts is having a real dart at this. Now, is he going to pay for it over the last 15? His strength and his stroke are just starting to weaken a little bit, so they're all coming back to him. Quick look at the time, 2:03.04, so he slid outside his personal best. He looked on course for a much quicker time than that, with 25 to go, but as everybody else started to come back to him, Sam Daly got second place. Jacob Peters in third, 4 for Freddie Clampett. Time of the second place for Sam, 2:04.28. So sadly, the 2:03 is not quite good enough for Joe Litchfield. 2:03.04, the winning time.
Paced up really well. Didn't go out too fast on the opening 100, but really did drive on that third 50 and all the way home. Probably should have gone a little bit earlier. Seemed to have a lot left over the last 50 metres or something, the last 100. It's one of those events that if you get it wrong and you pace it wrong, Elton John, as you like to call it, ends up on your on your back playing that piano. You can see the sizable gap that he's had there. Breathing every stroke, getting the oxygen into the lungs. This is your event, isn't it, Bob?
200 fly, yeah.
This looks just like you.
Do you know what?
In the break.
He has modelled his stroke technique on mine.
I saw it in the break when you was doing those repeats.
I thought I copyrighted it.
Yeah, when you was doing those repeats of 10 200s fly. Beautiful.
You should see my
poetry in motion.
You should see my breaststroke. Absolutely poetry in motion. Then he woke up.
The only splashing you do is in the back.
yeah, enough about that, thank you very much. That's the conclusion of event number 1 in this particular group of finals. Ooh, and in 2, we're on to the Target Tokyo 200 butterfly. Some mean looking dudes coming out on pool deck there. Really are. And Jacob Jackson will be celebrating his birthday tomorrow. 20 years of age? 18 years of age, yeah. My 8s and my 6s without my glasses look very similar, but yeah, 18 years of age is Jacob Jackson from Ellesmere tomorrow. So congratulations to him in advance. Kieran Bird in 1 for Bicester. 2 is George Epsley of Basildon, the only swimmer here for Doug and the boys in Basildon. He's had glandular fever this year, but he's coming back to, in fact his time this morning is very close to his PB. So 2:04 for George Epsley is his personal best. He was just outside that this morning. Jacob Jackson, the birthday boy of tomorrow, in 3. Ryan Brown, City of Glasgow swim team, going in lane number 4. 5 is Matthew Donville of Warrington. Thomas Bealey of Aberdeen in 6. Kevin Warbank of Loughborough in 7, and a birthday boy today from the first club is Callum Laurie, who goes in lane number 8.
Yeah, he'll be celebrating if he wins tonight. His 18th birthday today. We're hitting the town with you, Bob. Showing some shapes.
And you, of course.
But a fantastic start. Lane 5. Matthew Dunville, Warrington Warriors, turning first, 26.44. The opening 50. We've just seen how not to pace it and how to pace it in the previous heat. It is about being out there in the first opening 100 is strong, but it's got to be controlled. You've got to have something left over that last 75 metres, that last 50 metres, because that's where you can really stretch away from the field. But it does look very controlled from lane number 5, Matthew Donville.
Well, you talk about the spearhead formation, we're pretty much getting it in this one. At the 100 stage, it is Matthew Donville leading just from Ryan Brown, who's ahead of third place Jacob Jackson, and fourth is Kevin Warbank. Personal best for Matthew is 2:02.46, so we'll see exactly what happens. But look at this head-to-head going on between lanes 4 and lanes 5 right now.
Yeah, it's almost like we've teed it up. He's really working that third 50. He's gone from being second at the 100 to first now, 0.3 of a second advantage over Matthew Donville. And now it comes down who's done the training, who's put those hard yards over the winter, who's got the fuel left in the tank to finish this off over the last 25 metres.
It's the local boy who leads. The local boy is getting the applause and the reaction from the crowd. They really are enjoying seeing a local boy at the front of the field. Ryan Brown is going to take this. Matthew Donville in second place. But this is all about Ryan Brown coming to the wall. Great time too. Boy, that's a big personal best for him. He's been up in the 2:01s before today. He's down in the 2:00s now. 2:00.73, the winning time for Ryan Brown. Really enjoying that. Next mark for him is to go sub 2 minutes, and he's not too far away from doing that now. Matthew Donville 2:02.11, so a big gap between the two of them in the end. 1.4 seconds between first and second. Jacob Jackson of Ellesmere in third place. Callum Laurie, the birthday boy for today, in fourth in 2:03.56.
Okay, so we're going to move forward for a presentation next. But Ross, let's continue talking a little bit very quickly just about the women's backstroke there and the performances we've seen so far over the last 2 days.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I think last night really teed it up. We've got 6 final sessions, and it really started off with a bang, which was absolutely brilliant, getting those guys under the consideration time for the Olympic Games. But you know, not quite under those times on the 100 metres backstroke, but plenty more to look forward to as the session unfolds. And that was a great swim just there on the 200 metres butterfly, nearly going under 2 minutes. So it's looking good in the future, and that's why I think, as we talked to Tim Jones earlier, that they've identified that there's this group of swimmers that can actually now go on and need to be identified early on if they're going to go and push on to the Olympic Games in Tokyo and beyond.
Now, the interesting thing is, and we can pick on your experience here, Ross, you've been a swimmer all your life. You've kind of gone through the ranks as well. You've been to Olympic Games, you've been to British Swimming Championships, you've been very successful. Now, how important is it? We've got these Target Tokyo finals, the junior finals, for these younger swimmers to be able to look up to the likes of yourself and see the pathway you've taken, and now, focusing on 2020 as well?
I think when you look at it, it's all about the exposure that these young guys are getting. It's an exposure of coming out into an evening session in front of a crowd, and sitting in the call room next to, let's take the 400 free last night. You've got the young guys, and next to you
we'll just very quickly stop you at that point, and we'll just take a look at the British champion. So, what a moment that is for her. And continue with what you're saying. Actually, obviously, wanted to see her get a gold medal.
Yeah, I was just saying that you look in the junior swimmers or the Target Tokyo swimmers, they're sitting in the core room next to, or certainly behind, the likes of James Guy. Went to the World Championships last year, a gold medal in the 200 freestyle, a silver medal in the 400, and a gold in the relay. And just getting that exposure, watching how he goes about his business, and then coming out into this crowd. and delivering times. It's just great exposure for when they get onto that international stage. They have to go through these processes, and by having that target Tokyo final, it is giving them that experience.
Yeah, and you know, the World Championships last year in Kazan seemed to be a really strong turning point for British swimming to make their mark and say, right, listen, we're gunning for the 2016 Olympic Games.
Yeah, you know, there's no doubt about it that the results in London in terms of the medal count wasn't there, but they had a lot of finals, and those finals now are converting into potential, and we saw that last year in the World Championships.
Yeah, we did. Well, let's move on to our next final. Ross, I'll let you run back upstairs.
Senior final of the men's 200 meters butterfly. And again, we're talking about really tough target times for potential Olympic qualification here. 1:54.46 is probably out of the realm of all of these eights, to be absolutely honest with you. It would take massive, and I do mean massive, jump downs in time for them to get anywhere near that. But personal bests, of course, are on the line, as ever. And we'll get a look at some of our best full-length butterflyers in the country. It's not an event that's moved on, sadly. It is actually one of the events in the men's program that hasn't moved on since that bronze medal for Steve Parry in Athens 2004. It's kind of, well, I'd like to say stayed static. If anything, it's probably gone a little bit backwards since then.
Yeah, you're right. And you know, we thought, well, Michael Rock did start to develop it and did take it on, and he dropped down more to the 100. But yeah, you know, it's not every event we can have Olympic medalists. Steve Parry did fantastic in 2004. It's now down to these guys, and it's down to the target Tokyo guys to really push it on and really be on the podium now in the future.
Few PBs in the heats this morning. That really, I think, because that target time to me, Ross, I'm sure you think the same, is well out of range. 1:54.46. Nobody's even been close to that. So it's a case of everybody just trying to get the best time they've ever done before.
It is. You're right, and you know, when you look back at 1:54.46 for the consideration time, Steve Parry won his medal in 1:55, 12 years ago. So yeah, it is a quick time.
Very quick. And Sam Horrocks of City of Manchester in 1, Adam Mallet of Swansea in 2, Cameron Brodie of University of Stirling in 4, the 1500 metres freestyle swimmer going in the 200 butterfly, Jay Lelliott for Bath University, Mark Saranek of Edinburgh University in 5, Michael Gunning of London Aquatics in 6. Matt Johnson, such a promising junior, hasn't really pushed on from that, sadly, in lane number 7, and Luke Howdle of the City of Sheffield in lane number 8.
Yeah, great start from Sam Horrocks. Has brilliant starts and underwater, and it is actually going to be Matthew Johnson from Bath University, who just mentioned about a really immense talented junior, went to European juniors, wiped the field over a couple of years, but it now needs to make that transition into the senior ranks. Jay Elliott, fantastic swim in the 400, would have liked to have got second, of course, or certainly would have won it, but now he's got another chance to back that up here tonight, and he looks like, there's a blanket.
Yeah.
Could be anybody's.
Well, he's going to lead, I think, well, he's not actually. Matt Johnson's still just about holding on, but it's very tight. We're talking about 8/100ths of a second between Matt Johnson in lane number 7 and Jay Lelliott in lane number 4. But Lelliott is a great racer, isn't he? He just loves to get in there and have a crack.
Certainly is, but it's interesting to see Cameron Brodie. He went out this morning in the heats in 55 and then either backed off or died. It's completely changed the way he's swung. He's gone out and have 56. Let other people take the running for him, and now let's see if he's got anything. But it looks like it is going to be Jay Elliott that is turned first, 1:26.58. The thing is, going down the last 50, he is a fighter, he is a racer and a competitor. You wouldn't expect anyone to go past him, but it looks like this Mark Shranick in from Edinburgh University also going very, very well is Adam Mallet from Swansea Aquatics. So it's coming down to a final ding-dong over the last 50 metres.
Great finish. Adam Mallet in 2, Jay Elliott in 4, Mark Zaranek in 5, and it might well be Wales who gets the flag to fly here, because it's going to be Adam Mallet. What a finish from him. 1:58.02 for the man from Swansea. Second place going to Mark Zaranek, 1:58.20, and third 1:58.32 for Jay Lelliott. So 1, 2 and 3 separated by a third of a second. That was all. 1, 2 and 3 absolutely locked together, but Adam Mallet with the best of the finishes 1:58.02 for Adam. Mark Zaranek 1:58.20. Jay Elliott 1:58.32, and going inside 1:59 also Cameron Brodie in 4th place. Great race, long way outside qualification time, or potential qualification time for the Olympics, but nonetheless good swims by all three. Great race anyway, even the times weren't all that quick. We look at some very pained expressions, because that is a hard race. It's not an easy way to finish those 4 lengths. And great finish though by Adam Mallet of City of Swansea in lane number 2. His season's best this morning, has improved upon that this evening. Jay Elliott led for a lot of that race, but wasn't quite able to hang on, and flying finish from Mark Zaranek. All of the 8, by the way, getting the thumbs up from the judges, so no disqualifications on that. And here
yes,
is
Adam,
the winner.
congratulations. An outstanding swim there from lane 2. Could you quite believe it when you touched the wall and become British champion?
Oh, it's a great feeling to be British champion. I mean, it's the first time I've done it. It's a bit off my best. I've been training out in Australia for the last couple of years. I actually went a little bit quicker last year, so a bit disappointed with the time, but you know, a win's a win, so got to take it from there.
And you definitely had this crowd behind you. Congratulations. Big cheer for our British champion, Adam Mallet.
Said a third of a second separated first, second and third. Then I think there's a bit of pressure on Cameron. He went out so hard in the first 100 today. He came 4th just there. But what did you make of that performance? That was like a blanket finish in the first 100. Couldn't have predicted that at all. No,
and certainly, you know, in the form book, you would have either said Cameron Brodie or Jay Elliott to go for the win. But what a storming race from Adam Mallet. You know, he was a great junior. And then he kind of went under the radar. He was part of the offshore centre in Australia. He came back to Britain, and now he's gone back to Australia to do his training. You can see there, you know, he's just storming his way through from lane 2. These guys wouldn't have even seen where he was, and you know, fantastic time. He was disappointed with the time, but you know, a win's a win, and he would have, like I said, that consideration
British
time.
champion, you'll take that any day of the week, wouldn't you?
You certainly would, yeah.
You certainly would. And obviously it's so important to keep the composure, the stroke count right in butterfly in particular. When it's going to be a blanket finish like that, you cannot afford to make any errors, because if you don't touch the wall correctly, it can cost you the whole race.
Yeah, we saw that in 2008 with Michael Phelps and Michael Cavick by 1/100 of a second, and it cost you the difference between first and second. And then in that race, it was, you know, the difference from first to third. So, you know, you've got to take your hat off to Adam Mallet. He went in there, swam his own race. He didn't worry about the centre lanes. He's come out British champion. Yeah, and going out of lane 2 as well. How difficult is that? You've got a lane, you've got a chance, and certainly with the fly, it's difficult because you're always focusing forward and you're always breathing forward. So it's hard to see where everybody else is, but you know, it's one of those strokes, you've already alluded to it, that you've got to keep your stroke rates going. You've got to be calm and relaxed, and he did exactly that.
He did. Well, congratulations to him. Let's continue with the action. Over to Bob.
So the breaststroke is what we're moving on to now for women. Again, 3 finals for you. The junior final will be followed by the Targets Tokyo final. Then we'll have a little medal ceremony before we bring you the seniors final, including the likes of Georgia Coates, Chloe Tutton and Molly Renshaw, the British record holder, going in that. And well, tonight is the time for really tough testing targets for big events later in the year. 2:22.08 is what Molly Renshaw's need to look at, and to do that she's going to have to set a new British record, because that's well inside her personal best. As far as the juniors concerned, their target time is a lot less arduous, but it would be, of course, and there are 8 of them going to start, and that is the lineup for you. Good range and a lot of Scottish interest as well once again, so I'm sure they'll be getting a great deal of support from this Tollcross crowd. Erin Robertson of South Ayrshire in 1, Tatiana Belengoff of Guildford in 2, Lara Bate of City of Manchester in 4, Freya Anderson, which I'm sure we'll get more from Ross in just a moment, in lane 4, Neem Robinson of Pioneer in 5, 6, Abby Wood of Loughborough, Thanet Swims, Rosanna Arnold in 7, and Rachel Taylor, City of Sunderland in 8. 2:30.62 is the target time for the European Juniors.
Freya Anderson from Ellesmere College Titans, fastest qualifier this morning, turning first in 34.01. Abby Wood second, 34.59. Already seen Abby a couple of times this week already in the 400 metres iron final last night. The strongest discipline of that was the breaststroke, and she really did propel herself all the way through the field. So it's interesting to see how Abby Wood will do here. She's moved to Loughborough University.
I love the way that Freya wears her swim hat, like the cyclists do. It's got that kind of peak at the back.
It's like your shower cap.
It's very much like my shower cap, the one you borrowed this morning, incidentally. 100 to go. Freya Anderson 1:13.17 for her. Second place Abby Wood, and third is Lara Bates. So 1:13.17 is the mark, but then that's starting to come back to Freya, especially Lara Bates to her right hand side, and to her left is Liam Robinson, but it's going to be another one of those head-to-heads, I think, between Lara Bates and Freya Anderson.
Also, Abby Wood in lane number 6 is going very well, and that black cap looks like she is now starting to edge in front of the lead. And Lara Bates from City Manchester Aquatics on the shoulder of Freya Anderson into third position. It's very tight, second and third, but it's clear leader so far. Abby Wood, Loughborough University, turning 1:52.47. Half a second ahead, or a little bit more than Freya Anderson from Ellesmere College.
Now, Abby Wood is the only swimmer in this field who has done the qualifying time. She's been 2:29 before, so she can do a 2:30.62 if she can keep things together here. And at the moment she's doing just that. Lara Bates in lane 3 trying to get back on terms with her, and they're coming back. Freya Anderson in lane 4 as well. It could well be Lara Bates on the far side. Three of them pretty much in a line. Lara Bates going to get to the wall before anybody else from Manchester. Slipping outside the 2:30s though, 2:32.28 for Lara Bates. Abby Wood just didn't quite have it at the back end of the race. She's been substantially quicker than that. Freya Anderson in second place in the end, and Abby Wood, who was leading with about 25 to go, just couldn't hold on, and into third place she went, and that was hard work for all three of those in the end.
Nicely paced swim from Lara Bates. City Manchester Aquatics let Freya Anderson go in the first 100, and then just started to reel her in down the third and fourth 50, and touching the wall slightly a smidgen ahead of Freya Anderson, Ellesmere College.
I love that word. Don't hear it enough in commentary, I think.
What's that?
Smidgen. I don't know how you measure a smidgen, but I know what you mean.
Well, she won by a smidgen.
Yes.
And just in that instance, it was 21/100.
Is that metric or imperial?
Depends what decade we're living in.
Yeah, we know which decade I'm living in.
Not sure what century.
No. No. That's a bit below the belt. So there's the finish. Look at them, all three going to the wall almost together. But the swimmer in lane 3 just getting the mark. And they're relieved. They look at the clock, which is at the far end. Some places, like Ponsford, for example, the clock is above you. So you see people look straight up at the clock, which is above the blocks. But in this case, the clock is at the other end of the pool. So everybody kind of switches round very quickly to see what their time is.
Well, it's the measurement of a good swimmer and a bad swim for swimmers. It's the only thing that really they're interested in. The coaches are interested in other things about how you've gone around, how's the pacing. But the only thing that matters to swimming is what time comes up on the block and where does that place you.
On to the second of 3 200 breaststroke finals for women. And this is the potential we're looking at for 2020 with the target Tokyo 8. We will have swimmers from a range from Oxford, Peterborough, Newport, Edinburgh, Millfield, Loughborough, the Monson Club and Maidenhead as well. We'll give you the full 1 to 8 right now. Here it comes. And all 8 lanes occupied for the 200 breaststroke final for target Tokyo. Fastest in this field from this morning was Cara Hanlon of Edinburgh University, so we've already seen a win for Glasgow. Perhaps we can see a win for Edinburgh here with Cara with the fastest time from the heats.
Yeah, PB in this morning as well to make the final in lane number 4. Emma Kane has a sizable PB, is a lot quicker than the 2:27.18, so she's obviously just doing enough to make the final tonight, but a great start from lane number 6, Emma Day. We've seen her swim just about every single session, every single race so far, Emma Day.
She's the new Hannah Miley. Wants to have a crack at pretty much everything that's going there. And Hannah Miley involved a little bit later on. Didn't make the 800 freestyle. She was quite glad not to make that. I think ultimately she finished in 9th place. Final of that tomorrow night with Jazz Carlin, Kerry-Ann Payne, etc. And Ellie Faulkner as well for Sheffield. That'll be on tomorrow night's programme. But tonight we're looking at the women's 200 breaststroke. Onto the second length of it. And Emma Day is having a good swim in lane number 6. Alongside her, Emma Kane just a bit off the pace and coming through quite strongly over the second 50 is Cara Hanlon of Edinburgh, and in lane 2, which seems to be a good lane to be in tonight, Leah Rowan of Peterborough. So at the halfway stage, Emma Day leads from Cara Hanlon and Leah Rowan in 3rd place.
A 0.6 advantage at the halfway mark for Emma Day from Loughborough University, just over Cara Hanlon, Edinburgh University. So it's now down to these swimmers to start reeling them in, and it is Emma Kane from Millfield that's starting to edge into that deficit as you come down the third 50, 15 metres to go before we go into the final turn, and she's really trying to claw that deficit back. Just about half a body length still behind coming into the final turn.
50 to go then, Emma Day, 150.30. Emma Kane in 2nd place, Cara Hanlon in 3rd. That's your 1, 2, 3. Could still change over the last 50 because there's still a bit of racing to do. But Emma Day looks to be very smooth at this stage. Although she knows that Emma Kane, she'll be able to see Emma Kane coming right back into her slipstream.
Yes, certainly we'll be able to start seeing the splashes. Emma Kane just had a brief look to her right. She is catching stroke by stroke. I think she's now just edging out in front. She's got a nose in front as we're coming down to the final 7 metres.
2:27 she has done before. She won't be too far outside that. In fact, she may well be just a fraction outside it. 2:29.30 for Emma Kane as our winner. Emma Day, 2:29.99. So about half a second or so between 1st and 2nd in the end. Cara Hanlon in 3rd place, and 4th going to Annabelle Guy-Johnson in lane number 7. That is your 1, 2, 3 and 4. And so we had 2 swimmers sub 2:30 there, 2:29.30 for Emma Kane and 2:29.99 for Emma Day. Just to complete the lineup for you, that's how it looked at the end of the Target Tokyo 200 breast. A win for Emma Kane, Emma Day in 2nd, and Cara Hanlon of Edinburgh University in 3rd place. And this is how they finished, and it was a very, very, very good finish from Emma Kane in the green cap from Millfield. Emma Day setting her up pretty much for 1st place, but Emma Kane in the end was just too strong over the last 25, and she goes under 2:30, as indeed as Emma Day. 2:29.30 our winning time.
Well, fantastic finish there. Fantastic swims from our Target Tokyo finals.
Yeah, it is, and it's great to see that they're really working on their pacing as well. You see some of the guys getting excited coming out into this lovely arena and really getting that adrenaline going and flying down the first half of the race. But Emma Kane, perfectly timed paced race, and she got the win.
So far tonight we've seen the women's 100 metre backstroke, Georgia Davies of course taking the gold medal, and the men's 200 metres butterfly, Adam Mallet taking the British title there. Now we've seen the junior final, the Target Tokyo final as well for the women's 200 metre breaststroke. We've got the senior final coming up very shortly. Ross, how impressed have you been with the performances, the talent so far that we've seen, not just tonight but yesterday and today as well?
I think it's fantastic. You know, the British swimming put the selection policy really, really tough for Rio. And people
it's certainly not easy, are they?
People are matching it. People are stepping up to the plate, and that's what they're going to need to do.
They certainly are. Now, in terms of collecting medals, being around in it, kind of a home pull for a lot of people. A lot of swimmers know that this is a fast pull, don't they?
Yeah, it is, and you know, at the Commonwealth Games here, only 2 years, 1.5 years ago. So the swimmers will be used to this pool and used to this environment.
Which counts for a lot when you're competing at a level like this.
It comes down to such a silly thing, like people know where the toilets are, just so you know, they know where to put the suit on, they know the changing rooms. So it's just small things like that.
Well, let's see our gold medalist.
points. Could have came from lane 2. And that was a very, very good finish. And wasn't even calling him to about the last 25.
Okay, so we've got our next final coming up. What are your expectations? Dare I ask you now?
I think Molly looked fantastic this morning, didn't she?
Yeah.
She was so long, she was gliding,
She's so
powerful.
composed, isn't she, in the water?
Yeah, and speaking to her coaches, you know, they're thinking she's absolutely on top of her game. It's going to be so exciting because if she does that 2:22.0, that is a world-class time.
Yeah, and obviously it's in a critical time to be at your peak level of performance. Now, I know we've got another 4 months to go until Rio 2016, but now is an essential time.
Yeah, it is. It's you want to be on your performance at the Olympic Games or at the major competitions in the summer, but it's really important that you get down this marker. These girls or these boys will be having a long, hard winter of training, and it's about coming here and showing that work is paying off. So now you get the confidence to then kick on again for the Olympic Games.
Yeah, and how hard was that transition for yourself? And you've been there, you've done that from qualification to the actual games itself, because it must seem like forever from getting the qualification time for yourself and then you going out to the Olympics. Back in the day, Ross.
Back in the day. For me, I think it was really important. This is the pressure cooker.
Yeah.
If you don't do it here and you don't have in this environment, you don't go to the major competition, you don't go to the World Championships, the Europeans, the Olympic Games. This is the pressure cooker. Once you get to the Olympic Games, it's about showing what you've been working on.
Showing the world.
Showing the world what you've been working on and really going out there. And like Adam says all the time, I'm going to do his country proud. I want to do my country proud, and that's a really refreshing way of looking at it.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, let's move on to our next final of this evening. I'll hand you over to Bob Ballard.
Yeah, very much looking forward to this. Hannah, it's Molly Renshaw involved in the final you've been referring to. It's been an interesting event in British swimming, because that 2:24 that Kirsty Balfour did a long time ago, we're talking about 2003, 2004 time, stayed on the books for a long time until Molly Renshaw brought it down to the 2:23s, and she's going to have to be the first British swimmer to move it into the 2:22s, because nobody has got there yet. And so it was stuck at 2:24 for a long time before Molly moved it on to 2:23, and she has to go better than she has ever been in her life. Is she able to do it? There she is, looking fairly relaxed, or as relaxed as she can be, when she knows that 2:23.82 is just not going to be anywhere near good enough tonight. She's got to get, just put it in perspective, 2:23.82 is the British record, 2:22.08 is the time that she requires. She's got to knock nearly 2 seconds off her personal best here, Ross.
Do it. I'm going to be bullish, I'm going to put it out there. I think she can do it. From the reports we're hearing from Loughborough and the coaches at Loughborough, she's been swimming really well. This morning she looked incredibly strong, incredibly long. It's just going to come down to the emotions that she went through in 4 years ago, just missing the team, doing the time at the wrong qualification meet. So let's see if she can stand up and deliver here. I think she can. Okay, well, we've got the splits from when she set the British record, so we'll be able to give it a little marker. Remember, she has to be 2 seconds pretty much inside the times that we give you. Obviously not on the first 50 she won't be, but as we progress she's going to be looking to be 1.5 seconds towards 2 seconds quicker as she goes into the last 50. Molly Renshaw with that blue cap, and she will have a lot of competition here. It's not all about Molly Renshaw against the clock. Chloe Tutton will have something to say about it. Georgia Coates will also, and Katie Matz has been in that kind of form as well recently, will be there in lane number 2, but it needs Molly to set down the marker on the first 50. And she hasn't quite done it. Chloe Tutton 32.66 to start off with. 33.46 is what Molly did when she set that British record. Yeah, all eyes are on Molly, see if she can do that time. But Chloe Tutton's come along from City of Cardiff and said, no way, Jose, I'm going to take this race. If you're going to beat me, you're going to have to swim a very fast time. And they're going to have to swim a fast time if they want to get into that consideration time for the Olympic Games. You can't rush breaststroke at all. If you rush it, you start slipping the water. These swimmers look like they're in fantastic form, turning in 1:08.88, 3/100ths of a second separating Chloe Tutton from Molly Renshaw.
Well, it's only 0.3 of a second inside the British record, so they're going to have to up the pace quite considerably here over the second 100 to get anywhere near that target time. Chloe Tutton's doing her best as a pace setter, if that's indeed what she is here for Molly Renshaw, but Chloe has ideas of her own.
Yeah, certainly does, and she looks like she's actually starting to edge a little bit more in front. 3/100 of a second separating at the 100-metre mark. Let's have a look at the 150. That gap is now extending by 0.6. So we've all spoke about Molly Renshaw. Can she do the time? Can she win it? Well, Chloe Tutton, lane number 5, has been listening to you, Bob, and saying, you don't know anything. I'm going to win this.
She's on course for the time as well. She was over 2 seconds inside Molly Renshaw's British record, which stands, remember, at 2:23, but we're looking for a 2:22.8. This is fantastic stuff from Chloe Tutton of City of Cardiff.
Come on, Chloe.
Coming in, can she get a 2:22? Can she be the first ever British swimmer to go 2:22 in the pool? Yes, she has, but she hasn't quite got the time. It's a new British record, however, 2:22.34, and a big one at that, just outside the time she required to be automatically on the Olympic team. But that is a tremendous performance from Chloe Tutton. It was all about Molly Renshaw. That's what we were talking about. But Chloe Tutton says, oh, no, you don't. I'm going to do this. And did she do that or what? 2:22.34. First ever British swimmer in the 200 breaststroke to be under 2:23. Molly Renshaw, a second adrift in 2:23.56. And, well, the British record would have gone to Molly with that time, but she was bettered by Chloe Tutton. Tremendous from Chloe. Really good stuff, and the City of Cardiff will be jubilant, and surely she'll get a chance to show what she can do later on in the year. Right on the cusp of getting, that's still a world-class time. There's absolutely no doubt about how good that's. Yeah, look at her, she doesn't believe it. Looks back at the clock, goes 2:22.34. Amazing stuff. Not to be today for Molly. Still fast as she's ever been, but on the end, it was Chloe who got the victory. A little embrace between the two of them, and two absolutely spectacular times, and very, very quick in world terms from Molly Renshaw and the winner, Chloe Tutton.
Smile on your face just sums up how you felt when you touched the wall. Can you believe you're British champion in a new British record?
I can't believe it. I mean, I've trained really hard, so I knew I could do it, but it's just a matter of getting my head into the right place.
And did you know you were in front when you got into that final 5 meters? It was a great battle with Molly.
Yeah, she's an amazing swimmer, and I've been friends with Molly for many years, and she's just like always somebody I've looked up to, and she swam really well.
You're the gold medalist this time. Congratulations, Chloe. A big cheer for our British champion, Chloe Tutton.
Day's work, Ross. All in a day's work, eh? What did you make of that?
Well, did we not talk about Molly Renshaw going under the consideration time and winning that event? And it didn't happen. It completely didn't happen. And Chloe Tutton, a massive lifetime best and a British record. And that time is incredibly quick.
Yeah.
Is incredibly quick.
Were you expecting it to be that quick tonight?
I thought Molly could do it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that she wouldn't win it and Chloe Tutton would go and absolutely smash it. So, and that just shows you, it's great that the racing and people just stepping up to race each other. And it doesn't matter about form books. It doesn't matter about who's favourite or who's quickest in the morning, who looks the best in the morning.
Yeah.
It's about who touches the wall first in the final.
Yeah, it certainly is. And obviously, the ones to watch, all of that goes out the window when it comes to the actual race and competition. It's who's got that grit, that determination, and who wants to touch that wall first. And we've just seen a perfect example of that, haven't we?
Yeah, and it's not like, she led from the very off. She was first at 50, first at 100, first at 150.
And she couldn't believe it herself, could she?
No, but it's nice to hear her in the interview saying, I work incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And it's nice and refreshing to see that swimmers that work incredibly hard get the results.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, we're going to move on to our final event of the night, the men's 100-metre backstroke, which again is promising to be a fantastic final this evening. It's over to Ross and Bob.
Watch him sprint up those stairs. He probably appear in vision at the moment. He wanted to go and grab one of those blocks, but also be alongside me shortly as we look at the junior 100 backstroke final. Again, European junior places up for grabs here. Target time of 56.01. Few swimmers have been in and around that time, so they're capable probably of getting right on the cusp of it. William Gain of Nova Centurion is in 1. Jarvis Parkinson of Doncaster Darts in 2. Nicholas Pyle of Newcastle 3. There's your full list. Lewis Clough, the fastest qualifier from the heats this morning. City of Salford. The Henry Chesterman fans are back in from Millfield in lane 5. Thomas Thornley of Bicester in 6. Jarrell Murphy of Ealing in 7. And James Eddy of Wickham in lane number 8. Anybody capable in this field of getting a 56.01 is what they need to go to the European Juniors. Fastest away is Henry Chesterman in lane number 5, but it won't really matter because the races are going to start to develop from here onwards on the backstroke. Very few using the 15 metres, but now they're off and running.
Certainly are off and running, and a fantastic start with the white cap in lane number 5. Harry Chesterman from Millfield, the home of James Guy. That James Guy effect, as we like to call it, you know, having somebody walking around the poolside as world champion. It's going to rub off onto these younger swimmers, and he's having a fantastic opening 50, 27.19, but the rest of the field now are starting to clear back on him, and a fantastic swim again in lane number 8.
James Eddy is going for it. Thomas Thornley's going for it. Henry Chesterman's going for it. But on the far side, lane number 2 might get in the mix as well here. It's going to be James Eddy outside Smoker, is it? No, it's going to be just lane 2. Yeah, Jarvis Parkinson. What's lane 2 all about tonight? That's another winner from lane 2. 57.48 for Jarvis Parkinson. Not the qualifying time he was looking for. James Eddy, will I lie to you, in lane number 8. And third, it is Jarrell Murphy. And, well, that was one of our blanket finishes there. And the outside smokers get it. 2 and 8. Wouldn't have had your money on that.
No, 8/100ths of a second separating first and third. And only half a second separating first and fifth. So, fantastic race. You can see the finish now.
There's our winner at the top of the screen, almost out of our screen there.
Just starting to edge out in front. A brilliant swim from lane 2. Just shows you it doesn't matter what lane you have, there's still 2 lengths to the baths, as Chris Cook used to like to call it, former Commonwealth champion. There he goes under the 5 metre flags in the final finish, and he does get his hand on the wall first. Half second PB. See that blanket finish.
Yeah, it was our winner with the blue cap in lane number 2. Just having to adjust those goggles. Yeah, it is you. Yes, it's you. You've done it. Good time. There you go.
Yeah. Never in doubt. Never in doubt, Mum.
I love that delayed reaction. It's like, oh, is that me? Yeah. Oh, it's me. Yeah, well done.
It's one of those things. No one ever tells you how to win. So when you touch the wall, you do all sorts of funny things. It's always the case when the camera's on you as well.
Yeah, great swim. And I say another winner from lane number 2. So remember Marco's in lane number 2 for this one. Perry Gardner of Plymouth Leander is in lane number 2 for this one.
Yeah, he'll win, won't he? Lane number 2.
Yeah, Plymouth have got some good youngsters coming through, as we know, and maybe he'll be the one to beat off the attentions of another Plymouth Leander swimmer in lane number 1, Ethan Harrington. But Luke Greenbank is the favourite, certainly in terms of what he did this morning anyway, in lane number 4. We'll see what Elliot Clogg can do. That's such a great South Yorkshire name, isn't it? Elliot Clogg. Give it some clog, Elliot. Going in lane number 5. Daniel Cross of Loughborough in lane number 3. I really want Elliot to do well. It'd be great having Elliot Clogg being a successful swimmer. Because I know that all the journalists from around the world say, how do you pronounce that surname? Is it Clogg? It is. Andrew backstroke for the targeting Tokyo.
What accent was that? Scottish?
It was a mixture of all kinds of things. That's what I call an amalgam. Ask a dentist about it, he'll tell you what that is. So Harrington in 1, Perry Gardner in 2, Daniel Cross of Loughborough in 3, Luke Greenbank of Cockermouth in 4, Elliot Clogg of City of Sheffield in 5, Brodie Williams of Millfield in 6, Craig McLean of University of Stirling in 7, and James McFadden of Wickham District in lane number 8. That's a pretty much even break, isn't it, by all 8 swimmers. This is going to be quite a close one and a tight one to call, I think.
Yeah, all eyes will be on Luke Greenbank. Started to make that transition from the junior into the senior. He had a fantastic year last year, mixing it up with the big boys on the 200 metres backstroke. He turns third, so he does have that speciality of being a 200-metre backstroke. So expect him to come through the field. He turned third, 27.02. But Craig McLean of University of Stirling was first of his first turn, 26.86. But it is now Luke Greenbank that's using that experience that he's got. He went to the European Games in Baku and won gold, and now he is moving ahead to almost 3/4 body length ahead.
And he's going to win this one from Elliot Clogg on one side and Daniel Cross on the other. And 1-2 is Luke Greenbank, 55.02. Not too shabby. 55.71 for Elliot Clogg. And third place going to Daniel Cross. So that's more kind of representative of what we expect. 4, 5 and 3. The lanes that we expect to get the medals, this time.
That's right. The winner coming from lane number 4. You was always to put your money in the final, you would have put it in the centre lanes, but as we've seen tonight, lane 2 seems to be a great lane to be in. So
Elliot Clogg's first transition into the 55s there.
Target Tokyo swimmers now starting to step up. It doesn't mean that, you know, if you're not in this final, that you're not going to have the opportunity to push on and really target for Tokyo. But it's just giving these guys an experience of racing under the big lights, on the TV, and being them exposed to that race environment. And you look at the next race. You know, some of these guys could be around for a long time as well. And the next race for me is the race of the evening. You know, can the veteran Liam Tancock get onto his 3rd Olympic Games, or is it going to be Chris Walker-Hebben or Xavier Mohammed? Had a fantastic heat this morning, but they're going to have a big drop if they want to be considered for the individual. And let's not forget that medley relay in Rio. And you've got a certain Adam Peaty on the breaststroke leg. It can't look too bad, can it?
No, it can't look bad at all, and there's a bit of depth coming, luckily, in all of those strokes now. Certainly in the freestyle we have a world-class performer in Bren Proud, who we'll see in the 100 and the 50 later in the week. But here we go with the last final of the evening. Now remember, Chris Walker-Hebben has done the qualifying time before, but needs to do it tonight, of course. He's been in the 52s, and he'll need to be in the 52s tonight. Just in the 52, 52.99, but maybe Liam Tancock has other ideas, because he's been there too. It's a little while ago now, but he's certainly capable of doing it. And here is Liam Tancock right on cue, who really wants to have another crack at getting to the Olympic Games. He's there in 2008, there in 2012, wants to be there in 2016 as well.
Yeah, he looked confident when he walked out as well, and that's, you know, something you can see in somebody's eyes, that, you know, really ready to perform. And you know, a lot of people have certainly wrote Liam Tancock off over the years, but he's bounced back. He's had some injuries over the middle part of this 4-year cycle. He's worked on the back end of his stroke. He's got that raw speed. He will be out there with the rest of them, if not in front. But then he's going to try and start to come back, and that's something that he has had in the past, is that back end. But Chris Walker-Hebben, it's come from that 200 background. He's got the endurance. He's the man on form. But Zab Mohammed put in a nice time this morning, so all to play for, all to play for.
52.99 is that target time. Chris Walker-Hebben's been in the 52s, Liam Tancock too. We won't be ignoring the other 6, of course, but that's probably where the action's going to come from, in the middle of the pool. Chris Walker-Hebben on camera in lane number 4. One side of him is Liam Tancock. On the other side is Xavier Mohammed, who had a really good heat swim this morning from the city of Cardiff. Again, they'll try and use as much of 15 as they can. Liam goes right on to that 15, like he did in the heats this morning.
He certainly did, and that was close. But up and into his stroke is Chris Walker-Hebben, slightly ahead of Liam Tancock. A fast finish, or fast start from Lenski in lane number 8 as well, but it's going to be Chris Walker-Evan that gets his feet onto the wall first, and he does so in a time of 25.92 seconds. Was Liam Tancock 26.30. This is where Liam's got to use that experience over the many years of competing international to really start to draw Chris Walker-Evan, the favourite in lane number 4. But Chris Walker-Evan's looking incredibly strong.
He is with 15 to go. He looked incredibly strong this morning, but the only important thing is, can he get 52.99? 52.99, come on, it's there, just gone past, just slipped past. 53.73. Liam Tancock, 54.20. Xavier Mohammed in 3rd place. It looked like it might be on there for Chris Walker-Evan, but just at the last knockings, he slipped from the 52s into the 53s. 53.73. Chris Walker-Evan knows pretty much that he's going to make it if there is a medley relay selected for the Olympic Games, which there should be because of our depth. So there should be a trip to Rio for him. But Liam Tancock, as he goes as an alternate, may find that that was one of his last big swims. Here comes the last part of the 100 backstroke for men. Chris Walker-Evan dominating things, and Liam Tancock, hard though he tried, and he did try very hard on the far side from Walker-Evan, just wasn't able to quite get there. Xavier Mohammed was claiming 3rd place all the way through, and that's Walker-Evan's finish. Looks back at the clock. We'll look back at the clock now. Perhaps knows he's actually not looking back at the clock. Perhaps he knows that he hasn't got that time. I think in his heart of hearts he will now eventually look round just for confirmation, and the clock will tell him it's not to be in terms of the time he was looking for. 53.73 the winning time. Liam Tancock in 2nd, 54.20. Hasn't yet been confirmed as a result. Still waiting for that.
What are your thoughts when you touch the ball? British champion once again.
Bittersweet. I mean, it's a bit slow. Happy to come away with the win, but like I said, yeah, a bit bittersweet.
What was your focus when you were coming into this race? What was this race all about for you?
Winning, I think. I mean, it's now up to the big guys as to what happens next, but just as long as I won it, then I put myself in with a chance, so yeah, I can't complain.
Certainly did that, and this crowd were cheering you on all the way. Big cheer for our British champion, Chris Walker-Evan.
Now, we love a battle, don't we? We love a duel in the pool. We make a bit of hype about it. I really thought that was going to be maybe a little bit closer, but Chris Walker-Evan proved he is man of the moment tonight.
He certainly is, and you know, I think certainly with the excitement from last year, getting 3 people under the consideration time to tonight, we probably thought that was going to be a little bit quicker, but unfortunately not. But Chris Walker-Evan led from the front and started to really dominate this event over the last 4 years. And you see there shaking the hands of Liam Tancock, who's been around many years.
I feel like we're doing Liam Tancock a bit of an injustice tonight by mentioning his age, but it is fascinating the age that he's actually at, the experience he has. His first British medal was kind of when he was 15 years old, and we're talking 15 years ago.
Yeah.
A long time.
I think it's instead of doing him injustice, it's actually should applaud that he's been around the sport and he's given the sport so much over the years. You know, he's former world record holder at the 50. He's world champion, he's world medalist. He's done it all. He's done it all, and
he certainly has.
It's a chance now that he's second. He has put himself in contention for that relay spot. Whether they're going to take it, well, they are definitely going to take a relay, but whether they're going to take him on that relay spot, it'd be great to see him go to 3 Olympic Games because he's given this sport so much over the years.
He certainly
it'd be
has.
a shame to go out on this kind of in this atmosphere.
Okay, well, the moment we've all been waiting for. It's our British champion. Take a look at this.
Chloe Tutton. Well, all the talk was about Molly Renshaw, wasn't it? Getting the British record. Well, in the end, it was Chloe Tutton who did. Chloe Tutton the winner. Molly Renshaw in 2nd place, and a new British record. First British swimmer to go into the 222s.
What a fantastic performance tonight. You'd put your money on Molly Renshaw, and she just proved you wrong, didn't she, tonight? Hey?
Yeah, I've lost my house. I lost my heart, you know. No, I said, you know, it's But that's great. It's what swimming's all about. It's, you know, you've got your favourites, you've got your people that are the British record holders, and people just come and tear up the record blocks and you know, there's no reputations. There's no reputation. When you get in on those blocks and you get in that water, it's all about yourself and concentrating on your own race, and all that hard work over the last 8-9 months, over the summer, or over the back end of the summer and over the winter, and it's certainly paid here.
Yeah, and I know we kind of mentioned it time and time again, but it's so important in British swimming to have the rivalry between 3 or 4 different swimmers to kind of really spur each other on, because we know it spurs all the swimmers on. We saw yesterday for Adam Peaty, he mentioned about, you know, the likes of Ross Murdoch in 100-metre breaststroke. It's so important to have that rivalry. Like you say, friendship goes out the window, of course it does, but the importance of having the rival to compete against and push each other to really make the difference in those times.
Absolutely. And you look back to 2008, and in the 400-metre freestyle, you had Joe Jackson and Rebecca Adlington fighting it out, and then the following year it was a role reversal. But it's great to see. Well, it's great to see anybody on the podium in the international stage, but to get 2 people on the podium is just brilliant. And you know, that's the rivalry you can get. And we saw it last year in the men's 100 breaststroke at the World Championships. Adam Peaty won, Ross Murdoch came 3rd, and it was great to see that Adam came out of the pool last night and said, "I wouldn't have been able to do this without the other guys pushing me every single step." And you know, if it was easy, and he was going to come here and win easy, he wouldn't have pushed himself in the winter.
We kind of mentioned how down to earth Adam Peaty was yesterday, you know, how grounded he is. And we've seen that. It's been demonstrated time and time again from a lot of our swimmers that are really grateful to be here and grateful to be performing well. And, you know, Chloe saying, "I can't believe it." She genuinely couldn't believe that performance, because she couldn't believe that time either, getting the British record. Yeah,
like I said, you do that hard work over the winter, and you hope for it and you expect it, but that coming out is a completely different kettle of fish. You've got to handle so many different factors. You've got to handle the nerves, you've got to handle the occasion, you've got to see what other people are doing as well. So for all that hard work to come off on this important year and this incredible competition, then, you know, it's great.
Now, I know we're talking all about the swimmers, but of course the coaches, the family, the friends, the supporters, people watching now on the live stream. How difficult is it, first off, as a coach, to be watching?
Well, I'm not a coach, so I really don't know. But, you know, the coaches put so much time
and so
much effort in. And it's great to see that the kids are in here enjoying it. It's because hopefully one day they're going to want to emulate what they've seen tonight or last night and becoming it. It's that legacy. We talk a lot about it from London, but it really is so important.
But it sets such a benchmark. It's hard not to talk about it, isn't it, Ross?
And it's so important. It's so important to have role models in the sport, to have a sport that is fresh. It can save your life at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a life skill.
It's just important to have those role models. And
that's why I kind of want to go back to Liam Tancock a little bit there, because we mentioned earlier in the show about younger swimmers in the junior finals, the Target Tokyo finals, coming through, being sat in the call room with the likes of Liam Tancock, knowing, you know, his experience, what he's achieved in his career. To be sat near him surely must be so inspiring for these younger swimmers.
Yeah, it is. You know, we've mentioned it, but a world record holder, world champion, Commonwealth champion, European medalist, champion.
You could sit here and list his achievements all night.
You must have a medal cabinet at home that's full of gold medals, silver medals, bronze medals.
Like yourself, Ross.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, it's great that he can now pass on that experience. And, you know, it'd be a shame if he doesn't make that Olympic team, because just having him on the team, he's a positive athlete, he's a positive person. He wakes up every day. On the dullest day in Glasgow, he'll wake up and think it's absolutely a perfect day, and you know, the sun is always shining in Liam's world.
Yeah, well, it's certainly been a riveting night so far. Obviously the presentation is kicking underway at this moment in time. Let's just take a few moments to appreciate that fantastic performance and our medalists as well.
There's Liam, silver medalist this time round. There's our gold medalist, British national champion once again. Just not quite with the time he wanted. A little bit disappointed in his interview earlier on. But the medal, the gold one, will go around the neck of Chris Walker-Heaven, who will be thinking, well, at least I will be in a medley, hopefully in 4 months' time in Rio, and hopefully we'll get an individual swim as well. But there's our gold medalist.
So just captivating that moment, becoming British champion. How many times were you British champion, Ross?
Only a select few. Well, it certainly wasn't onto 2 hands, but it is a great moment. It's a great moment. To know that you're the best in Britain
Yeah.
is something that you love doing and you've worked so hard
And
at.
it's
a
not
nice
many
feeling.
people can say that they are the best in Britain. So
No,
the buzz for all of our swimmers tonight
I think sometimes it does get, taken for granted, and especially when you see the likes of Hannah Miley going up there 10 times in a row. People might think, oh, it's boring for her, but no, it's she's ruled this competition,
Yeah,
and she's
she
ruled that
has.
event for 10 years in this country.
Yeah, certainly ruled the sport as well. Fantastic performances from her. I mean, she's a busy lady, isn't she? Is Hannah Miley. She's always doing bits and bobs of everything. Now that moves me on nicely to tomorrow's event. So Ross, men's 100-metre freestyle kicking off in the morning. I mean, these events are getting better and better, dare I say it?
Yeah, the 100. I think the men's 100 metres is an event that everyone looks forward to watching, and Ben Proud shows some really early signs, a good form early doors in this season. So expect a strong performance from Ben Proud on that one.
And do you think, as we've seen earlier today, not all of the swimmers are going 100% out for the heats? They're just doing enough to get themselves into the final.
Yeah, especially when you've got really tough consideration times for the Olympic Games. You've got to say.
Cameron Brodie. We obviously went out really, really hard this morning, came fourth tonight.
Yeah, suffered tonight. So you've got to hold something back if you want to really have your peak performance in the final and get those consideration times. But then you can't run the risk of slipping out and not making the top 8.
You certainly can't. Now the women's 200-metre fly.
Yeah, it's always a grueling one, isn't it? It's one of the hardest events in the programme. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a hard one for anybody to make that one.
Yep. And the men's 400 metres individual medley.
Yeah, and another one, backing up, that's another one of the hardest events on the programme. So, you've got Roberto Pavoni, who's been around for a long time. He'll be in that. You've got Dan Wallace, that's coming back from the US to compete here. So, it's going to be certainly a good battle.
Yeah, and the splash and dash, women's 50-metre freestyle, one of my favourite events to watch.
Why, is this because it's so short and...
Yeah, because that was the event I used to swim in. I found that the easiest. No, but the likes of Francesca Halsall coming in there, cooking up a storm tomorrow, I expect.
Yeah, when was Fran first on the scene? 1991. She's still going. It wasn't that long ago, but she's ruled that event as well, and it'd be good to see what kind of form she's in. Again, she's another one that showed very quick early pacing in the season, so it'd be good to see how she transfers that here into the British Championships.
Yep. So very quickly, because we're about to go off air, how would you summarise this evening?
This evening's been about a close racing. Nobody's gone under the consideration time tonight, so it's a little bit of a step back from the day one, but still some great finals and great racing.
Some great finals as well. And don't forget, this is the exclusive access show. So tomorrow morning, we're going to continue with the live heats as they happen, 9:55. Maybe set your alarm for 9:45. Just get yourself around, get your laptops, computers, TVs, whatever device you have, and make sure you're watching tomorrow morning. This is the creme de la creme, the best of British swimming for the British Swimming Championships 2016. Tonight's been fantastic. Last night was fantastic. Tune in tomorrow morning for the heats at 9:45 in the morning, with the action kicking off at 10 a.m. Have a good night. Thank you for watching, and a huge thank you as well to Ross Davenport and Bob Ballard for their fantastic commentary tonight, and well done to all of our swimmers. We'll see you first thing tomorrow morning.